Good morning and welcome back to Morning Express on this 30th day of October. It is now 8:37 a.m. 1 hour later from the time we understand an accident occurred at Mtindwa Outer Ring Road between a train and a bus, a train colliding into the bus. And this, we understand, is as a bus was trying to cross the railway line. And of course, the number of the unconfirmed reports of the death toll now standing at 8, but we're still looking to clarify and confirm those numbers for you. Rescue operations, we understand, also ongoing, and those are some of the latest pictures we are getting from the scene of the accident. But I'm now joined on via phone by James Ngangu, who's a resident of Buruburu and also the chair of the Eastlands Business Association. He's at the scene of the accident now. Good morning, James.
Hi.
Yes, you are at the scene of the accident. Kindly bring us up to speed with what is happening and the information you're getting right now.
Right now, we are interviewing the commandant of traffic, Mr. Kimani. There are 2 dead bodies which I can be able to see, one in the vehicle and one on the roadside. And then the Matatu is at 4-seater.
Sorry?
Matatu is at 4-seater.
Okay.
Which has been crashed by the train. And almost every person was injured, and they have been taken to Mamarusi Hospital. Some with the serious injuries. And we expect there are more than, most of the injuries might succumb to injuries. This is a place where there are so many people. There are even now there are very many people surrounding this area. There are very many police officers around. And
James, let me just clarify. You're saying that is a place with usually many people. I didn't get that.
Yeah, there are always this is a congested morning hours because that's the time people they are waiting for the train. And that's the time most of the people they are rushing to work. So if I do most of the people they line up to wait for the train and they wait for the Matatu. So it was just by bad luck today when the Matatu was in the railway line, it was crashed by the train because there's no barrier to warn the Matatu or drivers there is a train which is bad. That one is a mistake which Kenya Railway Corporation has made. And the Ministry of Roads, because after constructing the Mtindwa Road, they did not put any restrictive measures like in area.
All right, and some of the reports also we're getting is usually there, like some, when most of these trains are stopping, especially where they're carrying passengers, they'll hoot or something of the sort as they arrive to the station where they're collecting passengers. Are we getting any indication that happened today, this morning, before this accident occurred?
That one I've not confirmed whether the train was stopping. To me, the impact was so high because it has dragged the Matatu about 300-400 meters from the city.
Okay, so you're saying the impact was high and the Matatu being pushed quite a number, about 100 to 300 meters away. And other people trapped. Earlier on, we're getting reports that there were people trapped and there were efforts to try and get them out of the wreckage. Is that the situation still now? James, can you hear me?
Yeah, come again, please.
Yes, I'm asking, earlier on we're getting reports that there were people who were trapped in the wreckage. Is that still the situation right now?
I have not come across people have been trapped on the only one person who is is the matter. I can't see another person, and then there is another dead person on the road.
All right. right. Thank you very much, James Ngangu, talking to us from the scene of the accident, telling us that usually one of the reasons that this perhaps even would have happened, that there is no barrier for matatus as they're crossing that. Usually when a train is passing, you always see a barrier coming down, but there is no such setup there. And so one of the things that he says and thinks would have contributed to the accident today. But now I want to talk to our Patrick Amimo, who also is live for us at the scene of the accident, speaking to him via phone. Patrick, can you hear me? Patrick, good morning. All right, we are going to be looking for Patrick in a short while. We have him on location at the scene of the accident to also just bring us up to speed with what he sees, the information he's getting, the details that are coming through. But what has come from what we've been speaking to all the people we've talked to that have been at the scene of the accident is that they have seen 3 bodies lying on the ground. Those, I don't know, they're yet to be moved. That's what James also just telling us right now. The Kenya Red Cross had indicated that 8 people dead, now saying that figure is not quite confirmed, but we understand the injured are being rushed to Mama Lucy Hospital. It's not too far from the scene of the accident. That is where they're being rushed, and some are in critical condition to be able to just get that treatment. But first responders, of course, as we spoke earlier to the Kenya Red Cross Secretary General Abbas Gulet, did indicate it's usually common Mwananchi, ordinary Mwananchi, just trying to help out with the situation. But since police have gotten to the scene, the Kenya Red Cross is there as well, just trying to help out. We have Amimo now for us. Patrick, good morning.
Good morning, Wanuna.
Right, Patrick, bring us up to speed with what you know now as you are at the scene of the accident.
Indeed, it's one of the accidents by the train near Eastland part of the city, where, according to official reports from the police, they say that 3 people have been killed so far by these these accidents occurred at 7:30 in the morning.
Patrick, let me just clarify. Did you say the police are confirming that 8 people have been killed?
The police are confirming that only 3 are dead so far.
Okay.
And this was an accident that involved a train that was heading to Kahawa. The boarding train at 7:30 a.m. along at Mtindwa junction. And what happened is this train collided with a 33-seater Umo Ina vehicle. These vehicles, most of the time they use the Buru route, traversing Mtindwa, which is a bypass, as they avoid the jam along Jogo Road. So on this particular day, this vehicle, as it was trying to cross the railway line, the train was on its way and hit it, pushing it along almost like 100 meters from the road. And so far, according to the police, 3 people have been confirmed dead and about 20 injured, who have been transferred to Mama Lucy Hospital. But owing to the situation of the injuries, I'm told that some of the injured are being transferred to alternative hospitals where they can get specialized treatment, like Kenyatta National Hospital. At the scene, crowds have piled up, and the train has not left the scene so far, and things are at standstill. Sophie, you remember this type of an accident involving a train and maybe a passenger vehicle did happen along this stretch of the Eastland part way back in 2001 thereabouts, where along Jogo Road, before the flyover bridge was constructed, a train killed almost 7 people also in the early morning around 7:30. So before the flyover bridge was constructed. But this particular accident today is the first in 10 years after the bridge was built. What I think should be done, as this Mtindwa was saying, because it's a new bypass, and many vehicles flying Kayole, Eastland route, say Kayole, Pomarok, and Kangundo, used to take like taking this deviation route to avoid the jams along Jogoo Road. And I think it's time authorities look into these aspects and probably put a crossing barrier along this part, the Mtindwa Road, in order to avoid such ugly things happening again. Wanuna?
Right, Patrick. And at this point, the question is, are there people still trapped in the wreckage?
Indeed, I've seen two bodies which are still uncollected, dead bodies. These are of two adult males. Under the wreckage, so far, I've not been able to see any dead body. But the impact was on the Matatu, which really has been suffered massive damage owing to the engine, how it hit it. And but I'm told the driver of the vehicle of the Matatu is still alive. I'll be trying to see if I can get in touch with the driver to explain to us really what could have happened for the train to have hit his vehicle. Sophie?
Right, and also that we're just seeing just some of the messages that are coming through, people saying that the train hoots usually so loud, but the music played by this some of these Island buses is usually so loud that you can barely hear when a train hoots and you're trying to cross. Talking to the people at the scene of the accident, what are they saying, and especially those who are perhaps in the bus or in the train?
Indeed, this is a very busy place because Mtindwa is a Jua, an informal sector market, the Jua Kali market. And there's a lot of activity, especially in the morning up till evening. And at times, even when the train hoots, it's not very easy for those who are maybe in vehicles or even pedestrians to notice that's why I think as one of the preventive measures, it's good to put a crossing barrier along Mtindwa in order to block vehicles when the train is about to cross. Because what normally happens is that when trains, it appears that trains have the right of way, and if any vehicle is found along the path, then that's when an accident occurs. So I think the best thing to do is to put a road barrier when trains approach. Then they can close the route to allow the train to pass, then open it for the vehicles to carry on. Sophia?
Right, and finally, Patrick, before I let you go, just to clarify on that question earlier, so you're telling us right now you cannot see that there's any form of rescue operation in terms of people who perhaps could have been still stuck in the bus, and we're seeing those pictures on our screen right now, or in the train, and that there are no efforts trying to remove anybody. They've all been cleared from these two, from the train and the bus?
Indeed, from the vehicle, there are no passengers in the vehicle. I think the injured have been evacuated. Apart from the two dead bodies that I can see, they are still at the scene. But from the impact of the vehicle, I say it was thrown about 100 meters from the scene of the accident.
All right.
The vehicle has been badly damaged so far. And what is happening now is that these are rescue operations ongoing. Sophia?
Thank you very much, Patrick. We'll link up with you in a short while. Thank you for those details. We now want to cross swiftly to Mama Lucy Hospital to speak to John Lawrence, who's on location. John, if you can hear me, good morning. John? We're going to be talking to John Lawrence. He's a reporter. We understand Mama Lucy Hospital is in fact where the injured are being rushed, and also Patrick has indicated that some perhaps are also being taken to the Kenyatta National Hospital, but Mama Lucy Hospital being the closest one from the scene of the accident, and that is where most of these people are being rushed. Some, we understand, bearing some very serious injuries from this accident between a bus and a train earlier this morning. And you can see this is just some of the pictures we're getting for you. The latest, you can see that train, and that impact, we understand, was so much that the train pushed the bus, a Moina Sacco bus. We understand a 34-seater there about 100 to 300 meters away from the point of impact. And those we are talking to also just saying that one of the things that really would have caused this accident is the fact that there is no barrier. Usually we see in most places where there's a railway line and then there's a road cutting across, that there always will be this barrier sign, so that when there's a train passing, then the barrier comes down to as a safeguard to ensure that everybody knows that there's a train coming, and so they don't get onto the railway. But that is not there. This particular place where the accident occurred in Mtindwa outer ring, and also we understand a very busy area. Usually it is, even in the morning with the rush hour. We are now, I understand, have John Lawrence, who's at Mama Lucy Hospital. John, if you can hear me, good morning. We understand the injured have been brought to Mama Lucy Hospital. What can you tell us? John, good morning. John Lawrence? All right, we've just lost him, but we will be looking for him and get in touch with him to just bring us up to speed with what is happening at the Mama Lucy, I beg your pardon, Mama Lucy Hospital, not far from the scene of the accident. That is where we are being told most of the injured are being rushed to. So this bus, as I said, a 34-seater, and the details we are getting from the Kenya Red Cross Secretary General, he says he can only confirm the 3 are dead. The police at the scene are telling our Patrick Amimo that they can only also confirm that 3 are dead. And so the numbers and the figures we've been talking about, 8, those are unconfirmed. There were 5 people that were critically injured. They were rushed to hospital. We had heard some of those reports that some had succumbed to their injuries, but the official death toll, very important to repeat that and to note, according to the police, is that 3 people have so far been killed. And Patrick was also just taking us through that this is not the first accident that is happening just not too far from where this one happened, between where a train was involved and people were killed. About 7 people were killed then in the early 2000s, about 2001. And now, of course, this brings back the discussion about accidents and the number of lives we see being claimed by road accidents every single day. We saw the statistic that were released earlier on, and staggering. And it is a discussion, of course, that usually will be brought to fore when an accident takes place, but clearly something that needs to be done very quickly and urgently to ensure that the lives being lost, this trend does not continue. But just so the details continue to come in. It's interesting, as I look at Twitter right now, the disaster operations Twitter handle, which is at NDOC Kenya, they're saying that 8 dead, several injured after train crashes into a bus in Umoja. Most of the injured taken to Mama Lucy, the critical taken to the Kenyatta National Hospital. That is what the disaster operations Twitter handle has posted about 2 minutes ago. That is what they're saying. But we are saying that the police is saying that they can only confirm 3, and the people we've spoken to who are at the scene of the accident are saying they have also seen those 3 bodies on the ground, of course, just lying there to be collected as soon as possible. And we understand there's somebody who's in need also of blood. Remember, just the tragic thing about road accidents, people will, the injured, of course, always in need of blood to help them recover. And there's a plea here for a person in need of O positive at the Aga Khan Hospital as well. So scores have been injured in that accident, the minibus and the train. I understand the accident happened this morning, 7:30 a.m. It is rush hour, so the bus was full. These conflicting reports we're getting about the death toll will definitely go with that, which has been said by the police. Our Patrick Amimo, who has been talking to police officers on the ground, are saying that 3 can be confirmed dead, and that they will be, of course, giving more details of what is going on. But the numbers of the injured, they're about 20. That's what we understand. But of course, even as we seek to get John back on the line, he will be talking to us about what he is seeing at the hospital. And the Kenya Railways actually did post as well. I just want to go to that tweet of theirs and read it to you, that they said, "We are sorry to announce there has been a train accident where a few casualties have been involved." That was a tweet coming in from the Kenya Railways. And they will come under sharp focus, and whoever else is responsible in terms of just putting those barriers. As I said earlier, talking to the people on the ground, they are relating this and saying that perhaps one of the things that made this accident happen, of course, there could be other factors. Those would be found out in coming hours and days, but the fact that there is no barrier, that in itself, a barrier always serves to just be that safeguard, as an indicator that there's a train coming that is crossing, so that those vehicle that would want to be crossing not to do so, and to allow the train to fast cross, but also understanding that it was an accident with great impact. And there are those that are talking about that the trains hoot loudly, and they're saying that some of these matatus and buses play such loud music that perhaps even in the eventuality, or in the case that there was hooting to alert people that there's a train oncoming, that there wouldn't be, someone will not be able to hear. But those are the pictures you're seeing from the scene. Right, those pictures you've seen there, and even one of a car that seemed to have also been hit as this accident took place this morning. Between that, you can see that collision right there, the train and the 34-seater minibus. There's also a car that we've seen on the side there that has also was part of that accident, hit slightly on the side. And also the numbers we're getting, we understand quite a number of people have assembled there at the scene of the accident, but police, as you see on that picture, are at hand to ensure that they do not crowd the area. But we are also not getting any confirmation as to whether there are people still trapped. We understand those that were trapped have so far been rescued, and the injured are being rushed to Mama Lucy Hospital, and those with critical serious injuries are being taken to the Kenyatta National Hospital. This is an accident that happened at about 7:30 a.m. this morning. That train you see there was heading to Dandora, and the bus to town. When the accident occurred, it occurred as the bus was crossing the railway. And the reports we're getting, and it is a fact that in fact at that particular point where the accident occurred, there is no barrier, and usually it is then up to the driver to, when they see or the train oncoming to stop or otherwise, but there is no barrier that would otherwise always act as that indicator that there's a train coming, and so it closes. We've seen that in different other places. But the police are saying that 3 people are confirmed dead. The earlier figures of 8 remain unconfirmed. And it's also a very busy, it's a busy site. We understand there's a market there, and even early hours gets very busy. And so also a question will be whether the dead were in the bus, whether they were thrust out, or there were people that were hit after the collision, perhaps people who were walking or crossing as well. So those are details that will continue to come with time as answers are sought. Of course, most of the people who are involved, who are in this bus and in the train, traumatized following the accident this morning. It is now about an hour and a half later, but we are seeing the national disaster saying that they are talking about a figure of 8 in terms of the people that are dead. But crowds, we understand, assembling there, and police have their work cut out for them in terms of just ensuring that they are cleared, so that operations as they continue go unhindered. And we'll shortly also just be crossing over to the Mama Lucy Hospital to hear what is happening there. We are saying that is where the injured are being taken, so that we can have an understanding of what kind of injuries were sustained. And in terms of the injuries, are they minor injuries? Are they serious injuries? And also we have those, of course, we are hearing are being taken to the Kenyatta National Hospital. And those pictures, some of the latest we are getting from the scene of the accident. It occurred this morning, 7:30 a.m. And as we said, this now, of course, as every other time there is an accident, it brings back that discussion as to what measures, what preparedness and measures have been put in place to avert such accidents. And a big one on this one will be the issue of the barrier, because there are many who will argue that if in fact that was in place, then perhaps this would not have happened. But there's some of the measures that need to be put in place in a country where we see road accidents and accidents, even such as this one, is claiming so many lives each year. But of course, those operations they are going on. We'll be talking to our reporters. They're bringing us up to speed with the details as they unfold. The death toll, the police are saying they can confirm 3 are dead. The national disaster is tweeting that 8 are dead, but that we say is unconfirmed as we await that official death toll from the police. The Mama Lucy Hospital is where the injured are being rushed from to seek medical attention. Of course, it was rush hour when this accident occurred. It was full, of course. The matatu filled to capacity. It's a 33-seater minibus, and even from the pictures you've just been able to see and you'll continue to see on your screen, and from also what we're hearing from the people we've spoken to who are at the scene of the accident, is that it was one that had great impact in that the minibus was pushed and thrust quite hundreds of meters away from the point of impact. And also there is the question, and with some saying that some of these buses play such loud music that even if a train were to hoot, an oncoming train, they would not hear, so as not to cross when it's oncoming. But again, those details we'll get to hear, even as we'll be speaking to some of the eyewitnesses, some of the people who are in the bus, to just recount what happened before the accident took place, because those were the people who were there. So we'll continue to bring you those details. But also the question of the Kenyans and people assembling at the scene of the accident, that has also always been an issue. Whenever there is an accident or an incident, you always find that there's so many people just milling around And whilst some would argue with good intentions to offer support, some really are onlookers, and it always doesn't serve to help a situation, but goes to hinder some of the rescue operations that usually are ongoing, especially just after the accident. So as we are telling you, we understand this particular point where this accident occurred is quite busy. You're looking now at the latest, the recent, very latest pictures, fresh pictures we have for you now, and we'll continue to bring you more of how that situation there looks like. Right, those some of the pictures we're getting for you from the scene of the accident, the Umoja train crash at Mtindwa. We now want to talk to John Lawrence, who's at Mama Lucy Hospital. John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Sophia.
All right, bring us up to speed, because the details we're getting is that the injured are being brought to the Mama Lucy Hospital. Is that true?
That is true. The injured are being brought to Mama Lucy Hospital. But there's actually a problem here at Mama Lucy. There's a state of confusion, and according to the patients who I've talked to, the hospital seems to be ill-prepared to deal with the current situation. There have been complaints from a number of patients that Mama Lucy, the staff at Mama Lucy are really not responding quick. One of the guys who I was talking to actually had a broken leg, and he says that he's been here for the last 1 hour and no one has attended to him. But then the other problem here at Mama Lucy is that the bodies that are being brought, some are being directed to the mortuary without even being looked at. We just had a scare here where one of the persons who was brought, as he was being taken to the mortuary, the morgue attendant found out that he had a faint pulse. So the doctors came quickly and they resuscitated him, and the guy is back to life and he's just been rushed to Kenyatta Hospital. Wait,
just recount for us that again, John. You're saying that one of the person who has been taken to the morgue had a pulse?
Yes, he had a faint pulse. So when the nurses who are taking him raised the alarm, the medic came and they checked and found actually he was still alive. They resuscitated him, and his condition, according to the medic here, Mama Lucy cannot help him. So he's been rushed to Kenyatta Hospital.
All right, and what kind of injuries are we seeing? What kind of injuries are you seeing with the people that are coming? About how many do you have at Mama Lucy?
As of now, Mama Lucy has over 20.
Over?
Over 20 patients.
Over 20? Mm-hmm.
And then there are other patients who are close to 16 patients who've been rushed to Kenyatta since Mama Lucy could not deal with them.
Okay.
Yes.
And the kind of injuries we're seeing, those
the
about 20?
Here we have broken body parts, we have serious head injuries, and then we also have those who have cuts at the stomach, There are a number of them also say that they fell from the bus. As the bus was being dragged by the train, they fell from the bus. So injuries are body parts majorly.
All right, and what you're also clarifying for us is that most of these injured fell from the bus, so most of them were in the bus, in fact.
Yes, I've managed to talk to some of the patients. A number of them fell from the bus. Those who actually stayed at the bus didn't make it. And again, the other problem that we have again is at the morgue. There is a big problem. There are people who came here to collect their bodies, the bodies of the dead who were brought here earlier. But now the morgue attendants are specifically dealing with the bodies that are coming in. So actually we have now a standstill where the mourners, bereaved families are here. They are pushing the morgue attendants to release the bodies that were here earlier, whereas the morgue attendants are busy dealing with the dead bodies that are being brought in. Remember, before I came here, there were 3 bodies still at the scene, and here we've just confirmed now a total number of 6. So we expect more bodies to come in. But then there are those who are being still attended to at the hospital here.
All right, again, a confirmation, John, you're saying that at the Mama Lucy, there are currently 6 bodies that have been brought there from this accident?
Absolutely. Initially, we had 5 bodies 30 minutes ago, but one of the patients has just succumbed to the injury, and she's actually a woman. She's just been taken to the morgue. So we have 6 confirmed dead.
All right, and in terms of, you've talked to us about, in terms of preparedness, that they're ill-prepared. Is there any appeal the doctors are making? Is there any help they're seeking?
According to they say that a number of doctors will normally come in at around 9. So when this thing happened, they really didn't have adequate staff.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is a serious state of confusion here at Mama Lucy. There is no one coordinating the work. There is no makeshift place for information where you can get information. We've had very many people who are coming in to look for their loved ones. They don't know where they are. There's no one to attend to them. There's total chaos here at Mama Lucy.
And you've talked about them not having adequate staff. Have you seen any more people coming in, reinforcement in terms of staff?
We've had some paramedics from a number of ambulance vehicles are coming in. They have been helping.
Okay.
But then there are those doctors, there are those nurses who are just running up and down. They actually don't know what to do.
Right, John, and you told us you've been speaking to some of these people. What are they saying happened? Have you heard any of the accounts of what happened, to what caused the accident?
Actually, the way the PSV matatus normally operate, there's a driver, then there's a conductor. But then the conductor normally has an extra person who helps in asking people to come in. So I've actually talked to one of the town boys who tells me that as they were approaching the railroad crossing, there was a saloon car. So the saloon car passed. According to him, the driver saw the train coming, but he felt that it was still far and he could make it through. So as the bus was crossing the railway line, the bus stalled. According to the town boy, the bus stalled. The driver tried in vain to start up the bus, but he couldn't make it. So people just started running away, fleeing. He could not make it, so the driver also made it out. He ran away, and then the train came and hit the bus. Now, a number of people who are injured from the scene are actually onlookers, guys who are just at the rail, waiting for the train. They are just at the railroad. So the bus, as the train hit the bus, it swept along with it a saloon car and other people. You remember at Mtindwa railroad here, railroad crossing, they are normally mama mbogas, and then they are businessmen, small businessmen. So a number, in fact, one of the dead here is actually a mama mboga who was just by the railroad. So the bus swept along with it a number of people.
Wow. Okay. So John, that's the bus driver did in fact see the train. That is what some of the evidences are telling you. He thought he would cross in time, but the bus stalled right in the middle of the railway line. Yeah.
Yes. Now, according to the town boy, the bus stopped.
Yeah.
And the driver tried in vain.
Okay. So most of the people in the bus were able to run for their lives. When you're talking to us about a Mama Mboga, who in fact is one of the dead, who was really on the side of the road.
Absolutely. According to the town boy, you know, the bus normally plays loud music. So a number of people didn't know what is happening. They didn't know the train is coming. They couldn't hear the train hooting. Again, one of the operators of the train said that the train hooted, but the train was at a high speed. Remember, when the train is from town to Dandora, it doesn't make any stopovers at Umoja. The train normally comes from town to Dandora, and then it comes back at around 7:40 to collect passengers. That is when it makes stopovers. So the speed at which the train was, they didn't intend to make any stopovers.
Wow, okay. So it was at high speed. Thank you for those details. You're telling us it's a conductor of the Matatu who was speaking to you about this?
Yes.
All right, and so there was a lot of confusion. And also what we've been hearing, it's quite a busy area. I mean, where that happened, you've mentioned the Mama Mboga, and that usually there are people, there are stalls around that particular area. And so some of these people injured and perhaps also killed were onlookers, as you're saying, and bystanders on the side of the railway, not necessarily in the bus.
Yes, absolutely. And then, you know, the railroad, Mtindwa railroad cross is normally a very busy area. And there is always manned with at least 2 traffic officers. So many a times before, I am one of the residents of Umoja. Mm-hmm. There's always a police officer to stop the buses so that the train can cross. I don't know what happened today.
Okay, so but yes. Today we're hearing there were no police officers to help out in terms of the guiding traffic to stop when there's a train oncoming, right?
There are no. This morning there are no police officers to help with the situation.
But usually they're there every morning.
Usually there are police officers every morning, from 2 to 3 police officers, 2 to 3 police officers. But this morning there are no police officers at the railroad crossing. But then I've also talked to the chairman of Umoina Sako, who says that they have talked to the drivers always to be vigilant in the area. But then, according to him, last week they wrote to the engineers to at least introduce a barrier here. But now, you know, everyone is talking and you cannot actually confirm.
Okay. Yes. Who is this that you're saying had asked to have the barrier put in place there?
This is the chairman of Umoina.
The bus that was involved in the accident?
Yes, you know, Umoina is a circle with a fleet of close to 100 buses.
Okay.
So they have a chairman, and I've actually talked to the chairman. He was here with me,
mm-hmm.
and he told me that they wrote a letter to the officers, the authority concerned here, asking that there be a barrier, a railroad barrier here placed. But they have since not received information. I am actually going to get exact information on that. You will have to give me a copy of the letter and let us share with the public.
All right. Thank you so much, John. Is there anything else you can tell us? We continue to look at the pictures from the scene of the accident. You told us that at the hospital, you know that 6 people have been confirmed dead and scores others continue to come in. You told us about 20 of them. Has the situation changed as you've been talking to us? Is there anything you're seeing there that you could tell us of now?
What I'm seeing now is that a number of people are being transferred from Mama Lucy to Kenyatta, the injured. But again, you know, there are fears. There are families that are here complaining that if he's unwell, the patient is unwell, why not just deal with him here instead of transferring? Remember, it's the morning and there's a lot of traffic between Mama Lucy and Umoja to Kenyatta. There is another distance. So I don't know what will happen, but this doesn't look good. And then there are many ambulances here carrying bodies, and then there are still more bodies that are more people that are coming in. Remember, when the accident happened, a number of well-wishers transported people to local clinics. There are local clinics around. So those are the ones who are now being brought in. The injured who are transported to local clinics are being brought in here. But again, Mama Lucy does not have the capacity to deal with them. So when they are brought here, they're just being first aid to them, and then they release the patients to Kenyatta Hospital.
All right.
And then again, the other problem here is that there are so many people at Mama Lucy. The security officers, they are trying in vain to fend off the onlookers. And then there are very many people who are coming here with claims that they have not talked to their loved ones. There is actually no rescue tent, or there is no communication area where you can get the number of people who've been brought in and the number of people who died. There is no such information. So it's upon the family members or families who are here to try and invent to communicate on phone with their loved ones. So if you cannot get in touch with your loved ones, you have no information, you don't know whether they are alive or dead.
Right, so pretty much a chaotic then situation there, with people trying to find their loved ones, the doctors also just trying to attend to the injured, you would say, right?
Absolutely. What I've also noticed, there are people who volunteered just to help the situation. But again, the person in charge of the hospital is not allowing any person to help.
Okay.
Yes. One more thing, Sophia, what I witnessed again at the scene, there was a saloon car that was knocked by the Moina bus. As the bus was knocked by the train, the saloon car was just by the road. Unfortunately, Kenyans being what they are, instead of helping the situation, once the driver of the saloon car was brought out, they started looting.
Oh my, okay.
They just started looting from the saloon car. The saloon car now has no radio, it has a number of parts.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, John. And we'll talk to you also in a short while. As soon as you get more information, do keep us updated. Thank you so much for that update, John. Talking to John Lawrence, who's at the Mama Lucy Hospital, bringing us quite a number of details as to what happened, also causing that accident, telling us that he spoke to the conductor of the bus, and he says that in fact the driver had seen the train coming and that he thought he'd cross before it got to them. But whilst trying to cross, the bus got stuck right in the middle of the railway line. And this train was at high speed. It had been hooting. And so tragically, that collision happened and pushing that bus hundreds of meters away, as we've been hearing from the several people we've been talking to this morning. And there's also a saloon car that was also hit alongside the bus as it was just being pushed forward. And John telling us that unfortunately, even after the driver of that saloon car was removed and rescued from the car, people coming in and looting. But also concerning with that update is what is happening at the Mama Lucy Hospital. And the picture that John has painted for us is one of quite some confusion. One is that he did indicate to us that there's a person who was being taken to the morgue. It had been thought that he or she was dead until the nurses noticed there was a pulse, that the person was actually still alive, and then taken to seek medical attention. He says that he's seen so far 6 bodies that have been taken there. You remember earlier on the police were maintaining that their death toll stands at 3, and of course that owing to the 3 bodies that even as we've been talking, most of the people we've spoken to were telling us that they can see those 3 bodies still at the scene of the accident, but 3 more that succumbed to their injuries. And according to John Lawrence, who's at the Mama Lucy Hospital, 6 have so far been killed. And he's told us about 20 of injured are currently being attended to there, but raising concern also as to the speed in which this is taking place. He said that he spoke to a man who'd broken his leg, and that 1 hour after he'd arrived at the hospital, he was yet to get attended to. And so ill preparedness, an issue that is arising, and also the capacity to handle this situation, because he tells us that also other reports they're getting is that quite a number of people are being transferred, and especially those with critical and serious injuries are being transferred to the Kenyatta National Hospital. And that also raises issue in terms of its early hours. There's crazy traffic, it's rush hour, and so the speed in which they can get that medical attention at the Kenyatta National Hospital, that of course as well coming into play. But he's painted a picture That also shows police are at the hospital just trying to keep members of the public at bay. He says quite a number of them have gathered, and some of them are relatives seeking information and details of their loved ones because, of course, from the very beginning, the information that has been gotten out there is that those rushed have been taken to the Mama Lucy Hospital. And so those who knew their loved ones, were traveling and perhaps knew they were in this particular bus, going there to seek for information. So quite a number of people there. He also did mention there was an issue in terms of staff capacity. There were not enough doctors and nurses, but he said since then some of the ambulances that have been coming with the medics have just been reinforcing the numbers at the Mama Lucy Hospital. So he says 6 bodies at the Mama Lucy Hospital, about 20 being attended to with injuries, and the injuries ranging from broken legs, he says, broken body parts and cuts here and there, and about 15 to the Kenyatta National Hospital. That's where they're being ferried to. And also important to note, as we've said, he spoke to this conductor who told him that even the ones who were killed, and he did talk about a Mama Mboga that was killed in this accident, she was just at the side. She was an onlooker, just getting ready to get started with her work this morning, and really just was killed as this collision occurred and hit by the bus as it was being pushed by the train. And so some of those affected, some of those injured, some of those killed were actually not in fact in the bus or in the train, but are casualties and, just got caught up. As we've heard, this is quite a busy area. There's several stalls there. And so that is how some of them sustained these injuries. And also there's an issue that has been brought up of the loud music, that also some of those people that were in the matatu told John that in fact there was a lot of confusion with the people who were in the bus, because commotion erupted. As the bus got stuck in the middle of the railway line in the here, and it was hard to hear the hooting because there was such loud music in the bus. So that's another issue, that perhaps some were not able to scamper as some were for safety after realizing what the situation was as the train was oncoming. And also another issue, he says that the SACCO that runs and owns these buses, the Umuona SACCO, that the chairperson has indicated to him that they had written to ask for a barrier in this particular place, but as to whether that is correct, he's going to be seeking to get those letters if in fact they were written and to whom they were addressed, because that's again another issue, because when there is a train oncoming, in essence, if a barrier was in place, then that would have been down, hindering any kind of movement to allow the passage of the train. But clearly that's not the situation today over at Mtindwa, because there is no barrier there. He also did mention that some of the people being taken now to the Mama Lucy Hospital had earlier on been taken to local clinics by well-wishers, clinics some of which do not have the capacity to treat some of the injuries.